So in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the different ways that you can track time. So what often happens is you're on the work items page and you're looking at your work items and you might just simply click on the timer. So over here, we could just click right there, start timer, and the timer will start ticking away. And we can, stop it whenever we're done. You'll notice that the timer also is up here so that if I leave the page, I can always see if I'm logging time. So that's one way to do it, and I'll just go ahead and stop this timer. The other way is, let's say that you have already logged time against something and you plan to come back to it. Well, if you click here on the timer, and make sure you don't click play, just click anywhere else right there, you get this drop down. Now notice this was the item that I had just clicked on. So basically it's showing me things that I've already logged time against, and I can easily come back to them if I need to. So I could just start that one back up, and then you'll notice that it will start ticking away in the main header bar, and then I know that I'm logging time against that item. And if I click here, I can see that it's running right there. Now if I want to edit a running timer, I could click on this and it opens up the form, and you can see here I've got the time. I could actually change this while it's running. I could change this to, let's say, 5 o'clock, and notice it updated the time, and I can click save, and it updates it on all the different timers in Ravetree. Okay, so that's how you can run timers, and I'll just go ahead and I'll stop this one. One other way, before I forget, that you can use to start up a timer is, let's say you're on the work item page. So we're just going to go over to the page. So we'll open this in a new tab, and this opens up the work item. And since I'm on a work item page, I could just start the main timer up here in the header bar, click start, and it will automatically start running the timer against that work item as indicated down there. Okay, so I don't have to go and add the work item to the time form. For example, here, you'll notice it automatically put that work item here for me. Okay, so that's another way to do it. Now, the other way is you could go to the timesheet. Okay, so we're going to go over here to the timesheet, and you can access it here by clicking on the timer, go to timesheet, or you could go to accounting and then time logs. Okay, now the time logs page has two different views. There's a table view and a timesheet view. You may not have access to the table view. It depends on your permission settings. But if we go to the timesheet view, you can access your timesheet. And notice that when I click on this timesheet dropdown, these two items that I was logging time against for the current week are also here. Okay, so it's the same information. Now I could just click the timer there if I want to start logging time against that particular item. So we'll stop that. Or if I don't like running timers, the other option is I could just enter time by clicking on any of these. So let's say I want to enter time for Monday. Maybe I forgot to log my time. So I could just click there. It opens up the time form. It puts the work item in for me. And I could say I worked on this for 2 hours and click save. Okay, and I'm not going to do that in this case, but that's the other way to log time. If you expand this out, you'll see all the individual time log entries that you may have entered against that item. Okay, so let me just go back here and I'll show you a previous week that has some more data just to give you an idea of what it looks like. I'll go back to this week. Okay, so for this week, I had 3 different things that I was logging time against. And for example, with this one, I can expand it out. And as you can see, I had 3 different time log entries for that item. And this one looks like just 1. And then here I had 4 different time log entries. You can see if it was billable, if it's been approved, and also how you entered the time. In this case, the time was entered through a timer. In this case, I just created a time log entry, perhaps by clicking here and just filling out the time as opposed to running the timer. Okay, so those are several different ways. There's even more ways, and usually what happens is you'll pick one way that works for you and kind of go with it, but I just want to show you all the other ways to be complete. You could click here in the upper left on the plus button and then do create time, and it opens up the time form. So you can enter your time here just like that. Now usually you would search for a work item to log your time against, but you don't have to. Now let's go back to the work items page, and there's yet another way that you could log time. There's really two more ways. And one of them is when looking at your list of work items. For example, let's say this one. Instead of going to the page, you could open up the slider. So we'll click here, and the information about that work item appears in the slider. And I could go over to where it says time logs, and I could start the timer, or I could click there to enter a time log entry if I prefer to do it that way. So that's another way. And then lastly, you could also, when viewing the work item, you could click the little three dots menu and you could do track time. So when you do that, it automatically put that work item in for me, and I just enter in my time and click save. So those are the different ways that you can log time in Ravetree.